Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag-grown technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Chris Williams, Brent Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
What is up? It is about 5:30 when we're recording this, Sunday the 12th. I just got off a flight from Denver via Boulder and back home. Bloom got home last night, and we'll break it all down for you. A lot to talk about, obviously. Basketball is its first. They play Creighton on Friday. Probably do more of that on Wednesday, I would think, with the bye week. I know the Let 'em Cook boys are going to do it for their first show of the year. A lot to get to. We're getting a crossover season, baby.
Yeah, real quick on that, just a housekeeping note. That game is on pay-per-view out in Nebraska, and it will be aired on the Cyclone Radio Network, I believe, radio-wise. So just FYI.
Rob Gray and Jake Brend will both be there covering it for us, so we're going to cover it.
I'm planning to go
like a normal game.
I'm going to go myself, but not as a coverage, but just to go see the fellas. Be a nice little Friday.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Mechdyne. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios. I had an event on my book event last Tuesday night, and a gentleman from Northwest Bank came up, and we chatted, and he told me about one of our listeners has moved all of his business checking and work over to Northwest Bank. They've had multiple people open up checking accounts. We love you guys. It's why we're in business, because we have awesome fans and followers like you guys. So great to be with Northwest Bank. They're a great partner. So are our friends at Mechdyne, who are thick and thin since day one. Chris Clover. Nobody loves the Cyclones more than Chris Clover.
I was thinking on the plane, I was like, man, that podcast could be a little tough to do on Sunday.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you know what?
It's not.
We've as Iowa State, we've been through a heck of a lot worse, but it's still support of those guys in particular that is much appreciated, especially in the tough shows.
Yeah, well,
we're gonna put our best foot forward anyway, not be miserable, and see what happens.
Sure, it's a tough show, but it's also, man, if these are tough shows, let's go.
Yeah,
there's a lot to break down here. Yep. I painstakingly watched the game again, and I just. What's good is Bloom and I haven't talked about the game yet. I didn't sit with him at the game. He went home last night. Our families were staying together there, but he went home immediately. We have not discussed this at all, so this will be what I hope a good therapeutic conversation for everybody. First and foremost, I wanted to thank everybody who came out to our event on Friday night with the Alumni Association out there in Denver. Those people were incredible. Trey and his team, thank you to all of them for being such great hosts. We had hundreds, 500 plus Cyclone fans came out there, listened to Bloom and Paul Shirley and me, and we all put on a little program for everybody. And it was fantastic. So really touching. Our guy Steve and Jared out there in Colorado did a great tailgate for Iowa State fans, and it was really a great weekend other than the game itself.
Yeah, I think I confidently say super glad Colorado's back in the Big 12.
Yes, no doubt.
That is a great road trip and highly recommend. And the students got a little sideways at times with some of us, but that's college football.
I'm not a huge fan of their crowd.
Yeah,
I had a couple. This is why I don't sit in the stands, but I did for multiple reasons yesterday. Anyways,
it is what it is.
But that's another podcast. Let's talk about the game.
Yes.
The defense significantly better by every measure over week to week. I was looking just on Pro Football Focus, and listen, we know it's not like the be-all, end-all, but it'll give you a decent snapshot. Tackling number for Iowa State, while still not good, last week was one of the worst in the history of the Campbell era, 27. They're up to a 45 this week. Okay, so it got better.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with the defense was the rush defense, which actually graded out very, very well. So you make strides there. You play well enough to win there. You have a bad play in coverage where somebody got lost. I did not watch that play back. I'm not even going to name names because there was a lot going on in that play.
As Matt said afterward, that was a communication error.
I think it was Patton and whoever the corner was or whatever. The second week in a row, though, where you can consistently move the football on a team, you average over 6 yards per play, but you're just living in third and long. Iowa State's now 6 of 28 on third downs in its last two games, which is disturbing that you're being put in so many long situations there. It tells you you're obviously not good on first down. But what's so frustrating in many of these scenarios, Brent, is just like when you get the ball, you have confidence that Iowa State's going to move it.
Yeah, and have.
Right? Abu Sama rips off 177 yards, and there's just a blatant lack of doing the easy things well right now. Rocco is wildly inconsistent. Mm-hmm. Needed him to be around that 65% number. Yesterday, he's nowhere close. Just he, for one reason or another, and he was incredibly emotional after the game. I know he's given it his all. He's not as consistent as he was. Multiple drops.
First series.
Yeah.
They kind of set the tone.
What set the tone for me was the holding call on Bramer that would have been a touchdown. Man, you feel pretty good if you go down and score in your first road trip or on the road, you set the scene. And then, listen, like, the overall offensive execution is just really, really poor right now. From the penalties to, I'm sure Taylor Mauser would like to have a lot of his play calls back. It's just the offense, while it's not terrible because they are moving the football by every metric, they cannot score. And the kicking thing plays into it, I'm sure, in some capacity because right? Like the Bramer hold, now it's 4th and 12. You're on the 28, which that's obvious field goal range, and you can't do it. So everything is kind of changed right now. But it's also why, like, I do feel like the offense will figure it out at some point. Like, I think they'll be back to that team that we saw earlier in the year, but it's hard to see it right now because they're not clicking, and your best players are not making great plays, and that makes it really difficult.
Absolutely. I mean, I chuckled a little bit. Somebody tagged me late last night, and said, I can't wait for Blum to tell me how the offense is actually playing better, but the analytics say so. And, and I understand. I deserve that. But interesting. I did dive into the numbers today, C-Dub. This is amazing to me. This is 100%. Again, the data doesn't always lie. Iowa State leads the nation right now in red zone appearances. Leads the entire country. Okay.
That's crazy. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Iowa State has 36 red zone appearances offensively. That leads the country. It's tied with Texas Tech. Iowa State is currently 115th in the country in red zone percentage, meaning only 75% of those times Iowa State comes away with any points. And of those points, Iowa State's 22 of 36 for touchdowns, which is not nearly good enough.
No.
And so I think you're dead on. Like, two things are true.
Especially now with the defensive injuries, too. You have to be way better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% don't believe it's a talent issue other than maybe the catching situation. Like, you got to catch the ball at some point. I mean, obviously, this team has been able to move the ball. Here's the crazy part, though. This is where it's like, this is the major disconnect. And so when Campbell says it's execution and details, there is something to that. Of the 10 teams that lead in red zone appearances, 8 of them are in the top 10 in scoring offense, averaging 40 points per game. All of them. Iowa State is 65th in scoring, averaging 29 points per game. Like, 8 of the 10 are in the top 10 in points and red zone appearances. Iowa State is first in red zone appearance, 65th in points. That is a huge, huge chasm that Like it's a disconnect because if you're bad offense, you don't get into the red zone. Like we've seen bad offenses, like you just don't do that. But for whatever reason, Iowa State is just unable to execute when it's down there. And the absolutely super strange part is Iowa State was top 20 in the nation last year with a lot of the same personnel in red zone percentage. Another number for you. Iowa State right now is 9 of 13 on fourth down. All of last year, Iowa State was 21 of 25. So they've had more fourth down stops through 7 games than they did in 14 games last year. So all of these things are adding up, and this is a team thing. Like, listen, the defense blew a coverage a couple times. Even that third down play after and we're going to talk about it here, that decision to punt, on 4th and 8 from in Colorado territory, and Matt referenced it because he got asked about it after the game. And I mean, this is the thing. Like, he did get asked about it. Here is Matt's answer. I'll just tell you what his answer is, and then I have a point to make. He said on that 4th and 1 play at the 19-yard line, he's like, I thought we could get a yard. And honestly, you should be able to get a yard. You should be able to get a yard at that point. So he didn't. Thankfully, the defense holds them to a field goal, which is a great play by them. To hold them at that point, to a field goal kept the game alive. But now you're at 4th and 8. The strange sequence where you run that draw, and I don't know what that situation was. Was that a player error? Was that a poor play call? Something didn't quite work there. But at that point, C-Dub, you couldn't have had great faith in that offense on 4th and 8 after you just got stuffed on 4th and 1 the drive previous. You had this weird sequence of events. Like, in an ideal world, you're not punting there, but you did get them to 3rd and 11 then on that next drive, and Colorado made a play. So I think all of these things added up yesterday where Iowa State was just never in a good feel, headspace, rhythm, whatever you want to say, and was really disjointed in that fourth quarter, particularly when it came to those 4th downs, because I think even the staff was like, I don't even know what to do here. Yeah. And it just didn't work. But
I do think on the 4th and 1, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm almost positive that was like a player option. That was a read.
As Matt said in the postgame, I'm quoting Matt here. That was a great play call. That's what he said.
I think it was there had Rocco done the other read, but I don't.
That's what I'm inferring based on Matt saying.
Yeah. And I don't know on the 3rd and 10. I mean, that's obviously the one that everybody's so fired up about. Like, if that was the play call, that's a really bad play call.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember. I mean, Rocco's doing a lot. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. Rocco has consistently made great decisions. You can't do everything perfect all the time. He's got to get some help. Mm-hmm. His accuracy's off, but damn it, you have to catch the ball.
Got the ball. Yep.
Like, there's just been so many drops, and it just, man, I do have a ton of faith that they are going to kick out of this on the offensive thing. I'm actually more confident that, like, the offense is going to somehow just break out and be really good down the stretch than I am, like, that the defense will. I think the defense, like, to me, they were much better, but they're still just not putting any pressure on the quarterback. And
yeah, like, I mean, that team is a consistent theme.
Well, and Haycock was really aggressive for the most part for him, I thought, on Saturday, and they're just still not getting to the quarterback. So it's like, I think Rocco this is going to be good for him. Take a week off. We've seen him. He's taken some really hard hits. Really
brutal hits. And you just wonder if there's just a carryover effect. I mean, that guy, CW, I mean, I don't appreciate a person any more than Rocco.
I know. We both feel that way.
It's not him. It's just, man, it adds up. And I think he's starting to feel, a year ago, you could lean on Jaden and Jalen a little bit to take some of the onus off you. And I think he's feeling a little bit right now. Like, man, especially those early drops, it's like, what do I have to do here? And then you press and it was just a rough. It was like Jake said yesterday, and I agree with him. This was a program loss. Like, you can't single out any single player, coach. We haven't even talking about the pass interference, defensive holding thing that was strange at best, egregious at worst. But you hold Colorado. I mean, that's a game where if those teams play, like, again, Colorado won the game. They were crisper. They made the plays. It's just I don't think that was a talent issue yesterday for Iowa State. No. I really
that's
don't.
What made it frustrating.
That's what's frustrating here. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just goes against everything that they've done. When Iowa State's good, what they do well, and it's no penalties, and it's just you're just sharper, you're tougher. I don't know if it was a toughness thing that feels disingenuous to say that. I don't think it was. It just it has not felt anything offensively, at least, has not felt in sync since that Arizona game.
That's what Matt said in the postgame. He said since the second half of the Arizona game, we haven't done it. We have felt off. He's like, that's on me. So Matt fully, that's the one part I respect. Obviously, everybody in that program, but Matt took ownership right away. Rocco took ownership right away. Nobody's blaming everybody else here. It's like the reason why Iowa State's been able to get through tough times is because, as Matt says, and I'm sure this will be the message this week, you find out a lot about yourself when things aren't going well.
And then they're just like the things that this seems too simple. Tell me if it is. But I'm thinking through it just like everybody else is. But the bad, either bad snaps or drop snaps or like Rocco hasn't been crazy consistent, but when he has, he's like, there's been a lot of like receivers just drops, just weird penalties at like really untimely spots, like the Bramer thing. I don't know if he held or not, but he didn't need to. Like that was going to be,
the false start that randomly happened, even though the ball hadn't. That was a weird one too, by the way. Iowa State will be submitting that one to the Big 12.
And then I do want to talk about the play in the corner in the end zone because this drives me crazy. It's really hard to do what we do after a hard loss because it really doesn't matter what we say. Like half the people are going to be pissed at us, and it's fine. It's what we do. The one of the things that drives me crazy though, and anybody who's listened to us for 20 years, like I've been very consistent with this. Like it used to be more of a joke where like Blum would just be the referee defender, and I think they have a really hard job. I think that I've never been the guy who's like, oh, put him in front of a camera, and no, we're not. These guys, I truly don't. What would that accomplish? Like, would that just make you feel better? Like, I don't know. The deal in the corner of the end zone with the picked up flag.
Yep.
To the crowd where that didn't lose Iowa State the game. No, it didn't. There were a lot of things that happened, and Matt said it after the game where you put yourself in the position, whatever. But that I do think that was egregious to pick up that flag. Like I would go that far. I don't think it was like, oh, the refs are out to get Iowa State. That's either pass interference, which they said was not because they deemed the ball not catchable, or that is a defensive hold. In any world, you can't just tackle the guy. So in my interpretation of it, assuming it's all like, this is how I interpreted this, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. They called pass interference.
Correct.
Got overruled. And then they can't now be like, but it was defensive holding.
Correct.
Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
Okay. So I do understand what was going through their mind. It's just, I don't think most people can factor that, right? Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense how you can pick that thing up.
That is not logical based on common sense, but it is logical based on what the officials, based on their protocol. And again, it was a missed call in my opinion, but what they told,
Rocco made a really poor throw.
Yeah, I mean, that non-competitive throw didn't exactly help.
If he throws it up and gets it to that whole thing is different. So all can be true, but it's still.
Yep. What they told Matt is just that was, well, we called defensive pass interference, and so we thought it was defensive pass interference, not holding. But because it was not a competitive throw, and in their words, by the time the defensive back intercepted it, it was not catchable. Well, if you go look at it, and I have it right here on my phone, like the contact occurred while Waka was still has the ball when it first initiated, and so in my mind, that's defensive holding for sure. And so the question is, what happens now? We can disagree. It's not going to change it. Unfortunately, that's a judgment.
Sure as hell impacted the game.
It did, and it impacts.
Don't tell me it didn't make a difference.
And then it impacts. It impacts a lot of people's livelihood too, which is but that's. It's a silly sport in that regard. But so what will happen now is what Iowa State's going to do is they every game they compile a list of games or plays that they disagree with. They submit it to the Big 12 supervisor of officials, and they get an answer. And that's about all you can do. And then officials get disciplined one way or another based on that review from the supervisor.
I don't think that under the way I understand it and the way you described it, I don't think that they'll get reprimanded or anything.
I don't think they will either because they in their minds
say they went by the book.
Correct.
And I'm also guessing those 3 refs are having a beer and being like, God, what a lose-lose situation that was. The one guy saying I screwed up because I called it PI and not holding.
Yeah. And then at that point you can't pick it up and go, oh no, actually was holding instead.
Yeah.
Like that is not, it's stupid, but that's the way it is. And then the other thing is like it's not reviewable either.
Yeah.
Pass interference is a judgment call and is not reviewable. And so Iowa State just got hosed. Honestly, they got
the guy
hosed.
made the wrong call on the field, and you can't go and reverse that.
Yeah.
And again, like I don't know who that ref is. He's not an idiot. Like to get into that spot, you have to be. So this isn't. He probably knows that he ate that thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And he'll get disciplined, I'm sure, or maybe not. Who knows? I mean, that's just.
I don't think that you're going to get an apology letter, though.
No,
is what I'm saying. Because
I don't think you will either.
They went by the protocols, by the book. In like you said, it doesn't make any sense, but that's what they're supposed to do.
But it changed that. Iowa State scores there. Again, this is assuming
Changes everything.
Iowa State is able to convert in the red zone. They're not exactly automatic, as we have discussed.
No,
but just that. It was a cherry on a frustrating cake of a day.
If it's ever 4th and 1 on the 1, or 1st and goal on the 1, can we please just do 4 sneaks in a row?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
but the problem is last week against Cincinnati, you tried to sneak it with Rocco and got stuffed
4 times in a row, and you do the tush push, you're gonna get in one of the times.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree. It's C-Dub. The problem is now that you've been stopped enough in those situations, you've been unsuccessul enough times. Now it's in your head a little bit. Like, well, what do we have to do here there's a huge confidence issue in the red zone right now for that team, and I don't know if it's because of the kicking deal, because they're pressing more because of that. Is it just unlucky? There's been a lot of holding. There's a lot of penalties in there in the last couple of games too. It's just been a multitude of things.
I do think overall the offensive line has played pretty good.
I agree. I 100%. I mean, you can again. I share that stat. I actually leads the country in red zone appearances. You're not a bad offense if you're doing that. Now you can be a bad offense of executing once you're there, but it's not. In my opinion, it's.
What's crazy about
it's not
that
a talent deal.
Stat though is like how many 3rd and medium, 3rd and longs they've been in. They're still able to do that.
They're still able to get there.
The other point I would make, and I'm really glad Abu's moving now. He had a couple of long runs.
Yep.
What they're lacking,
yes, I know where you're going,
is the just home run.
And that's that stat. That is the next part. If I really dive deep, why there's that many red zone appearances?
Yeah, because they're not capitalizing.
There's not big plays.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of big plays either. Like I mean, big as in 50-yard touchdown plays.
And we're waiting on Sowell to finally have that breakout. I think we all see the talent there. It hasn't quite come together yet. But when you kind of live with tight ends in your passing game, you're going to have fewer of those. Edskolson's a really good player, but he's struggling right now to catch the football. Looking forward to watching him break out of that slump. But it's really frustrating. I know they are frustrated beyond belief right now, but that's why they need a. It feels like we were just on a bye. So
I know it's such a weird. It's been a weird. It was 7 games in now. It's been an odd. I'd say a disjointed season, and I don't blame Ireland here, but it's just there just hasn't been a whole lot of rhythm to this year so far.
The worst part for me, and then we'll move on. And I want to thank some sponsors, but it's just I don't know. I think Cincinnati might be better than Iowa State right now. Like I think that they just may be a better team overall. I don't think that's a maybe.
That's not a hot take at all.
That's why last week it was kind of like, it sucks. But I don't for a minute think Colorado's like more talented or just better than Iowa State. Like Iowa State found, Matt said, shoot yourself in the foot over and over again. Like they just kept doing it. And
that was the first time in a little bit for me where it just felt like man, it was bad football. It was just a bad football. That was just a bad football game. Like, you're going to have some bad efforts. That was just bad. Like, that's a game that Iowa State really hadn't had, much of at all since that Ohio thing 2 years ago. So, it'll hopefully rally back, but I think it was extra frustrating because it was such a great contingent of Iowa State people there. And then I think the other thing you see, C-Dub, and it'll get into our Wiffle segment at some point, I think this league outside of Texas Tech is there. You know what I mean?
I said this to our staff last night on our little text chat, and everybody's emotional, and, everybody buried this team last year after the Kansas game. And I don't know. I truly don't think this team is going to go 10-2. This feels like an 8-4 situation to me. Okay, I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. But all I'm saying is last year we were in a very similar spot right now.
True.
And you ended up playing for a Big 12 championship. So
yep.
Let's see what happens. I do have faith. Like, the one thing that you got going for you is the stats that we've given on the offense, and it's not like it was the Deckers year where you just can't move the ball.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't get a yard. I mean, they, legit couldn't move it.
You're moving it. It's just, and I also, and they're never going to talk about this, and I don't think that they should. But the kicking thing is like, how much does the pressure of that, because it looks mental, honestly. Like with a lot of these errors, it doesn't. It just all looks mental. Are they putting more pressure on themselves? I don't know.
And that's the hard part with injuries, because obviously the injuries they happen. Defensive backfield. Do people then press and make a mistake in those blown coverages because they're trying to do too much? And that's a question as well. I mean, I think that's what happened with Iowa State basketball last year. I think Milan goes out, 100%. And I think guys start overcompensating, and all of a sudden you've completely lost your flow. Like, I truly believe that's what happened. Like, that happens in sports. Like, the really great teams are the ones that have a ton of depth and they can kick out of it and find ways. Last year they were able to do that. Will they be able to? I don't know. I don't know. But it's like, just look over at Penn State and how quickly this thing can turn good and bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an insane sport.
That deal is one of the most shocking.
It is completely, but it just goes to show, like, it. I mean, when things get sideways and the confidence gets shot, and it's brutal to get back in it. And that's why Matt's, I think, one of the best, and probably the best ever in Iowa State history, is generally he's always found a way to get this team to bounce back.
His teams always get up off the deck.
Yeah.
They always.
It rarely, you could look at 2022 and that team went 4-8 and but that had some systemic offensive issues that year. I don't think this is systemic. I just think it's stuff here and there, and it's adding up. And
if you listen to them, what they've said, I mean, Matt's on the record. They felt like culturally they had a drop off there for just a couple of years.
Yeah,
and that's not the case with this team.
I don't sense it. I don't
either.
But I think it's good for a bye week for everybody, fans included, and then get back at it for a huge game. Could be a potential huge monster game with maybe an undefeated BYU team coming to town.
All right, we'll get to that. I want to thank a bunch of our great sponsors who allow us to do this. And by the way, I met our guy Devin.
Yeah,
who's going to be replacing Dr. Greenwald over at McFarland Clinic with Dr. Warmy. Did you see him on Saturday?
I did.
Okay, great. Because Devin and I were talking and we were looking for you, and I'm like, Bloom's over hobnobbing with some big donor. Bloom's doing important things while I'm here manning the fort at Steve Kemp's tailgate. But no, I really appreciate those guys. And they've been busy. They've been busy. I've seen them on the field a lot this year. Darn it! Like, come on.
A little too much. I saw Devin. Devin was actually on the sideline with the medical guys yesterday. So
doctors, Warmy and Greenwald, they're at the McFarland Clinic.
Let's give proper credit. Dr. Leland, the new Dr. Leland, will be the next one to join.
Oh, okay.
Devin Leland.
I probably should. He introduced himself as Devin. I never actually met him before, so Dr. Leland, I'll never do that again. Yeah. I apologize. You deserve the doctor.
He earned that degree.
In front of you. Also want to thank our buddy Colin Newell over at Farm Bureau Financial Services, of course. Colin also does the Cyclone postgame show with me on the Cyclone Radio Network. We had a good chat. after the game. And Inside Zone, Jacqueline Cordova, Colin, Tyrell Brock, and Jake Rimsberg.
A good week to listen to those guys because all of them dealt with this in some capacity.
Well, and Jackie worked really hard. We were working on some good topics and ways for her to get into that with those guys, and that'll be a good show this week.
It's interesting just being around athletes more. It's never as good as it seems. It's never as bad as it seems. And young people really do bounce back a lot quicker than the fans do. They do.
Absolutely. They do. Yeah. There's no doubt about
but
that.
you could see, you could watch, again, guys, watch the Rocco post game. And there's not a better guy I want leading this program right now than Rocco. So always team Rocco. And I know that guy's literally dying with these 2 losses. Like literally it's killing him to not win those games.
Shout out to Kelderman Manufacturing, Mark and Jeff and all the team over there in Oskaloosa, great sponsors of what we do. They're also the presenting sponsor of Beat Reporters. We had a good episode this week with some basketball because I know that Rob and Jake and Ben will all be heading to Omaha for the Hoops exhibition, so I'm sure they'll touch on that during the football bye week coming up. And last but certainly not least, Andrew Chaplin, our main man. He is a realtor with Hunziker. He is the Cyclone Fanatic preferred realtor, and I know many of you have bought houses through him, and he does great service, and he's a great friend of what we do. Let's do Franklin and then do the Wiffles hybrids. This maybe going to be a smidge longer. We have a lot to talk about today. So James Franklin is fired today.
The Wiffles hybrids college football report this week.
That's actually a really good idea.
When you plant Wiffles hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wiffles.
James Franklin is fired. To be honest, in 20 years of doing this might be one of the most shocking turns I can recall. The offseason was full of Penn State love, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And I didn't feel like I fell for anything talent-wise. Those guys, they're still going to have dozens of dudes taken in the NFL draft. Absolutely loaded. The fact that he has been fired on October 12th, is it shocking that they would have a poor season based on those expectations? Absolutely not. Like, that happens in college sports. Shocking enough that they would lose 3 in a row, 1 to Northwestern at home, and he is fired on October 12th, is a staggering story that I don't think that I can truly comprehend, especially in this moment when money is tight and the buyouts. And so then it, of course, goes to Matt Campbell.
Yeah.
And I haven't actually seen rumors. Matt's name will be on that list.
Feldman had him on his list of about 8 guys, by the way. And I trust Feldman. Bruce Feldman is as good and locked in on college sports as anybody.
Feldman, you're right, he is, and I respect him a lot. Yep. Good man, too.
Yep.
But he always has Matt on every list.
Yeah. Yeah. he likes Matt.
Yeah, he's a big Matt guy.
He's a Matt fan. Feldman said, I just want to just be honest, I really read it before we came on here. He said Matt, the national perspective on Matt is that he would take an NFL job over any college job. He wrote that in the article. That's from Bruce Feldman, not me or you.
Well, and my analysis to that would be that Bruce doesn't just luck into that, or he doesn't just make that comment unless he knows something.
Bruce Feldman has been in names multiple times.
That's the thing, guys. Like how to read these reports is now the credible ones. Now, like the random. That's different, but
NindyLionIllustrated.net.
Yeah, you're not accidentally putting that little nugget in there. I think that the Wisconsin, because Fickell's going to get fired after their abysmal performance against Iowa.
I think this is actually a great larger topic conversation. I think this is a defining moment in college athletics this offseason. C-Dub, follow me here, because the whale of the story here is Franklin got $49 million to go away, which is obnoxious in this world where he just got 2.5 years worth of salary payments to the players. 2.5 years. Because again, you're capped at $20.5 million. to do nothing.
Because he was did a poor
and
job.
So, number one, these buyouts, this has to be it. But yet, these schools still pay for it. So if and I've seen it already from the agents I follow on the internet, they're already looking at this going, hey, how dare you say that you're poor and our athletes are capped and all this stuff when you're going and shelling out $50 million for a guy to not work. So there's that side of it.
Can you argue with that?
Nope, I can't. But then there's the school side of like, we're doing this there has to be at some point a deal where you stop doing this. But I think the real big question now, the fact that Penn State did this is twofold if I'm a prospective coach there. Number one, I know I can get talent. I'm going to get resources at Penn State. But also, it's not going to be guaranteed, clearly what Penn State has shown. So if I'm Cignetti at Indiana, right, or I'm Matt Rule at Nebraska, those would be the two main guys for the Penn State job,
yes.
I think.
Rules like the industry, by the way, like the underground guy that everybody thinks will take that.
Yeah,
and
because
he's not known as like a loyal guy either.
No. And he's best friends apparently with the Penn State AD, by the way.
Okay.
So that would not shock me one iota. But I think that it adds a larger conversation. Let's just throw Matt in the mix of what is considered a really good job now. This is not 2012.
If Rule leaves, Nebraska would call him. Dannon called him when he was at Washington.
Matt, this is where you got to kind of play out the cards here.
I'm just telling you that would be a thing.
That's what I'm saying. This offseason is going to be, and we're in the middle of the offseason because all these conversations will now, one way or another, they're going to, you don't fire somebody in October just to appease the fan base. You get to work and you start making those calls. But I think it's really interesting now for coaches, what jobs do they take? What is considered a good job? Yes, I will get paid. Yes, I'm going to have resources. But if I start first in the nation and have 3 bad weeks, I get fired. Is that really a good job then? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the expectation games gets out of hand as relative to a Cignetti at Indiana or Matt at Iowa State, where I'm going to guess Cignetti at Indiana and Matt at Iowa State, their runway is as long as they want it to be because of what they've already done with programs that haven't been at these levels before. And so are you better off staying at a place that appreciates you or taking the so-called better job that Penn State would be in national perspective? I just think we're going to see a reset in the industry, and I think it's happening right now. I think this is the last year of crazy, crazy buyouts. But then again, C-Dub, they keep doing it, so maybe they got more money than they need. It's also interesting, on the heels of this, is the Big Ten is about to get $2 billion in private equity. And
interesting.
It's
I hadn't thought about that yet.
It's the rich getting richer, and they are literally going to try and this is what they can do with that. Like when you start talking about the advantage, it's not just an NIL. It's to do stuff like this. You can just buy your way out of problems, essentially, with all that money, and that is an advantage the Big Ten and the SEC has that none of the other conferences don't, including Iowa State. I mean, you guys, we're struggling, as we've talked about on this program. Iowa State's just trying to, get competitive and stay out of, debt, essentially. Well, you got Penn State just throwing $50 million to have a guy go away. It's just not the same game.
Yeah, no, and it starts to feel like, man, you're playing in different divisions.
Yeah,
it
I know,
starts
and
to feel like that. It's hard. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either, and that's sort of like, man, and that's why the Big Ten and the SEC want to run away and hide in this stuff because it gives them all the advantages right here. Like this is why.
Yeah,
this is why. So I think it's an indictment on the current situation of college athletics, this whole James Franklin deal, because who takes the job? One, what are the natural ripple effects of people then job hopping, and then does this cement the Big Ten, the SEC as the only place to go if you want to be a national brand? I mean, I think that's what the Big Ten and the SEC are trying to do. And you can see it in the kind of the references to, if Matt really wants to win, then he better go up to the Big Ten or SEC. Whether that's fair or not, that's the perception out there.
So, we don't do a lot of the national stuff on this show that much, but I felt like that was really important.
You guys, I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but this would be this will be one of the more active off seasons in this weird state of college athletics right now, because you're going to have you already have several monster jobs open, and you're only going to get more. And then what I think is going to happen, C-Dubs, you'll see some conference to conference hopping, which will open up some other jobs. And then keep in mind, everybody, right now, all these jobs, there's now a 30-day window. All those guys can jump in the portal at no penalty. So not only are you going to have the job hopping, you're going to have the player hopping as well.
I hate that for fans. That's the part I hate the most. Is and not that the players shouldn't be able to move. It's just if you're a fan and your coach gets fired on October 12th and all the players transfer, why do you even go to games? Like they're just.
Yeah,
I know that. Like if I'm an athletic director, it's like, well, you love your school and we need your support, and all that is true.
It's true.
It can all be true, but. It's like, well, the players can all just quit. Like, if you're in the Oklahoma State situation right now, like, why would you be going to those games?
Well, then, but the hard part is, see, I mean, you know this, and if I'm the athletic director, and you know that it's how do you prove to your current coach, no, we're still going to support you. We're throwing our support behind you, so you don't even want. So you don't even want to look at that.
You're right.
Like I mean, I'm not saying again. I don't want to make people, paranoid here. But absolutely, in my mind, if I'm Matt Campbell, okay, and I see, okay, I'll have 3 extra resources over there, and that doesn't mean just player payments, by the way. I'm saying all the extra stuff. Or I can keep grinding out at Iowa State and be loyal. And then it's a really interesting deal. This is why I think the attention, for me at least, turns to what is less Iowa State as an institution, but also the university in there as well. What's the new president going to be with all this? How are they going to keep providing resources for a Matt and a TJ? That obviously now plays into the state conversation as well that we've had on this conversation. But these jobs are start opening now. They're open now. And so if I'm a head coach at a Big 12 school, I want to make sure my school is all in on continuing to support me before these phone calls start happening.
Good points. Yeah, it's a really big conversation. Let's have some fun and talk about the stuff we love to do, which is breaking down the Big 12. And we'll do our WebWise solutions, guess the point spreads coming up as well. Really fun night in the Big 12 last night. I don't know if you got to watch it all. I chose not to go out in Boulder and sat and drank a bunch of Coors Light that we had to get through.
Take one for the team, pal. Thank you.
And I watched all the Big 12 football.
Did that random ass cat ever come back?
I never saw it. I know the girls were looking for it. It's really bizarre. We had this great Airbnb though. It was in downtown Boulder. It was a perfect location. We had so much fun. Just a really great time.
You did. I mean, we kind of had some bad vibes on. Was it Thursday?
Oh my God! Yeah.
When a bird died.
So we're all
right
walking to breakfast on Friday. And it's in downtown Boulder. And this bird just swoops down and goes bam right into the glass of this right in front, and it drops dead right in front of us, like within steps. It was like Final Destination stuff. And I just turned to our group and I was like, that is not good. I mean, our mascot is a bird.
And your wife's a veterinarian, but does she do with birds?
Well, we discussed that, and like there's nothing she can do at this point.
When the bird is dead. Anyway,
and we were like, do we pick it up? Do we, like, it was this whole thing. It was really it was
a bad sign. Yeah, it was a bad omen. It was a bad omen.
Horrible omen. Now, so BYU's Iowa State's next opponent, by the way.
Yeah.
And boy, they had a war with Arizona last night. What a great football game. This was awesome. 2 overtimes. And BYU, I think it was our buddy Kurtz over Kansas State, and I think he said that they have like 9 lives, or BYU. I think somebody did. Kurtz retweeted it or something like that.
They were not that dead bird, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I just said to myself, I'm like, that's the perfect way to describe this BYU program over the last 2 years. They just keep finding ways to win. And I got a little flack. I said, and I truly believe I'm right, I said that I think that Texas Tech and Utah are like by far the best teams in the league, and some BYU fans rightfully challenged me. But when I watched the teams, like
same.
The Utah Tech game was much closer than that score.
Same. Yes.
Like it was much closer. But like BYU,
they haven't lost.
And they keep winning. And they did this last year too. And I kept doubting them last year, and then they kept winning. So shout out to those guys.
Good way to go, BYU. I mean,
I'm happy for them. I don't think they're as good as the other ones, and I know it pisses them off that Utah's the other team, right? And they're like, well, we're undefeated, and they lost a game. I get it. You guys are right. I'm saying like where I think this thing's going to go.
And they play Saturday.
Oh, Holy Wars this Saturday.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't realize that.
And
that's good. We could get them in a letdown spot. Names then.
Well, I mean, we're going to play guess the point spread here momentarily. I believe that game's in Salt Lake, so there's no doubt Utah's going to be favored to win that game.
So BYU has 3 straight road games.
Maybe it isn't. Actually,
that can't.
I don't want to look. I don't want to look because I don't want to see the point spread yet. C-Dub.
I'm going to look right now.
But you can look for me.
That game is at home against Utah.
Oh man. Okay. I think that's
also that's Saturday night special, baby. Big Fox.
Right. Current odds
to be at this Lainey Wilson concert. I'm not going to be able to watch it live.
Well, yeah, she's going to talk about trucks probably.
She's got a heart like a truck.
Current odds to win the Big 12, and the odds makers agree with you here. Tech is minus 200 now.
Yeah.
And then Utah 650. Those are your top 2. Cincinnati and BYU both at 9, tied for 3rd.
Yeah, and I don't think Cincinnati's good enough to.
I don't, but the schedule is super favorable for them.
Yeah,
super
that
favorable.
would be the thing.
They got some of theirs out of the way already.
Well, they barely. I mean, one score. Almost a one-score game. I guess they won by 9 against Directional Florida at home yesterday. They're okay.
I think
they're okay.
This is,
they're not bad. Like
we are staring down C-Dub, a 7-2 team in that championship game. There's no question in my mind now. And then, the other part about this is I have a hard time just seeing him through 8 weeks, seeing anybody beat Tech at the current rate. And so in my opinion, if Tech goes undefeated, gets to the Big 12 championship game and loses, I think Tech gets into the playoff. So I think there's definitely a path there for 2 in the playoff, by the way, for that ongoing conversation. But
I'm just watching these games. Utah is really freaking good.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's, in my opinion, those 2 are it's definitely Tech 1, Utah 2, and then I do think there's a drop off that. But again, Cincinnati and BYU are undefeated in the conference right now, so good for them.
Elsewhere last night,
I get real quick on this. There is still a path. Obviously, okay, I don't want to get into tiebreaker stuff on October 12th, but there is. You're not out of it yet. You just can't lose anymore.
Can I just make a real quick point though? This is my thought on Cincinnati and BYU. Okay, and I give them credit. They've had great seasons. Take a team like Houston. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Houston is 5-1. They're 2-1, but the perception is that they're still just Houston, right?
Yep.
If you put Houston against BYU or Cincinnati on a neutral field, I don't know what the spread would be, but I don't think it would be more than a field goal one way or another.
I agree with that.
Where if you put them up against Utah, or we just saw what they did against Texas Tech, that's my point.
That's
how I'm
14
looking.
points. That's a great. I agree.
That's how I'm choosing to look at this when I have that take.
Yep, that doesn't mean you're not getting that. But I think those 2 are definitely the most teams to be reckoned with, Utah and Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I think that if let's just say, because they had a big win this weekend, if Indiana had to say, all right, Indiana, in your first round playoff game, you can either play Cincinnati or you can play Utah.
Correct.
Right? Or
yeah.
You know where I'm going.
Yep. Yeah, but Tech, in my opinion, is on its way to not only making the playoff, but potentially getting a top 4 seed. I really believe that.
Okay. Good win for Kansas State.
Yeah.
Against TCU. This one,
surprised me.
It kind of did me too. And good job by Kleiman and those guys to stick with it and fight back. TCU is a really good 1-2 Big 12 team.
Yeah, no kidding. My gosh.
It's hard to believe that team has a losing record in the league, but they do. And then Tech just, kills Kansas. Tech is just an auto bet every week. They're covering machines. They just destroy everybody.
Morton got hurt again though, and it's just I don't
know if it makes a difference.
I don't think it really does. The
Hammond's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good. He's a better runner. It probably would make a difference down the stretch, in a playoff scenario.
Playoff game. Yeah. Yep.
But with a lot of these mid-tier Big 12 teams, I just don't know.
Yeah.
if it matters, because they're just so good up front on both sides of the football.
Tech does have now the 4th best odds to make the playoff, so that lines up with my top 4 seed conversation.
All right. I want to thank our friends at the Iowa State University Foundation, MoveWhatMatters.com. Also, our friends at the Ivy College of Business for supporting us here on the program. And they can work hand in hand together as well when Forever True Day comes around, because you can give a gift to the Ivy College of Business, which we both try to do every single year.
Absolutely.
I need to go and meet the new dean. Will you take me to do that sometime?
Oh, man.
I would love to do that.
Okay, people joke that you don't stop talking. Well, you haven't met Raj yet. Raj can out-talk anybody. The guy's just a machine in the best way.
That's great. I'd like to.
He just doesn't stop. He's 0 to 100 real fast. There was some controversy via Bloom Tracker, and I missed 2 last week, but by only a half a point. But it's 2 points for conference games, right, C-Dub? Just to break down the rules. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm not jacking around with that either. You should know the teams well enough by then.
Perfect.
All right. Guess the point spreads. It's presented by our friends at WebWise. Try webwise.com. They're doing my book website. It'll be out, well, hopefully on Monday. It's done. Just needs to be turned on.
So this is not political, but the book release is kind of held up because of the government situation.
Yes, the Library of Congress is no longer
and then
working.
you need to get some sort of certification.
It's just you got to get like a number, and it's
got it.
Bureaucratic mumbo jumbo that I didn't even know was a thing.
Well,
I have people taking care of that for me.
I think of the conversation, people are really looking forward to it, as they should be. That's going to be fun.
Thank
Proud
you
of
for
my friend.
helping at the event on.
Absolutely.
What a great event that
was
too.
Good
Shout
job,
out
Colorado.
again to those Colorado folks,
Yeah.
man. We had a blast. All right. Saturday, 11 a.m., Baylor at TCU.
Oh, man. TCU 3.5.
That's a hit. 3. I reckon that'll be 3.5 too. The sharp money's going with TCU. Good play. Arizona at Houston.
Oh, man.
No, I know where I would bet. I'm not going to give any more. I know where I would bet here.
Vegas still likes Arizona for some reason. I'm going to say this is Houston -3.
That's a hit. 2.5.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Get that right now when it's under a field. I would play Houston.
Hey, man, you were on the Willie Fritz thing this summer, by the way. You got
Remember all those Baylor fans that killed me for putting Houston in my top 10?
Just let the record reflect.
Some like the Signetti thing, like he's super cocky and kind of annoying. But like when he says all I do is win, Google me, that's like Fritz. Like some guys just win.
Yeah.
And to think that Fritz was just going to keep going like 3-9, like no, like he's.
Well, then and to give him credit, they put some money into his roster this year
absolutely.
too. They got money in Houston.
West Virginia is at Directional Florida.
Oh my gosh, is this the worst game of the year in the Big 12?
Where are those people at? I haven't heard from Directional Florida fans for a while.
Are they?
They just completely disappeared.
By the way, as an aside, you make a weird hire, and like those both of them did with Rich Rod and Frost, and man, the point is, it's hard to catch back up in college football once you get behind. It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. Unless you have, and everyone points to Signetti and says, well, they did it. Unfortunately, it's not that easy if you're a West Virginia or a UCF with the resources difference. Anywho, this game is in O-Town, Orlando.
Yeah.
UCF is a 10-point favorite.
That is a miss. They're a 7-point favorite.
Oh.
Saturday, 3:00 kick. We're watching for a quarterback situation here. Texas Tech is at Arizona State. Do we have a Levitt? Do you know, that was weird. I didn't even know he was hurt. And then all of a sudden he was out for the Utah game.
That's a great question.
Kind of ruined that game.
Yeah, they got their backside handed to him. He's week to week, apparently, whatever that means. But aren't we all? This game's in Tempe.
Mm-hmm. Fox. We have a great doubleheader of Big 12 games because it goes from this game to Utah BYU.
I'm going to say Tech 7.5 here.
That's a miss. Tech's a 10-point favorite.
Wow, are they really?
Yep. I mean, the market's finally starting to adjust because Texas Tech is really good.
Yeah,
We've been telling you on this show for a long time, they are just as good as these other teams.
That's shocking. Well, I mean, it's not shocking because they're really good, but if you had told me before the season began that they'd be 10-point favorites at Arizona State, like, what happened?
And it's not like Arizona State is just completely falling apart.
Nope.
Like they're not as good as they were last year, but who would have expected them to be? They don't have Cam Scatterboot.
Cam Scatterboot's had a nice little start to his career.
Yeah. Utah at BYU, the Holy War.
Oh, man. I'm going to say BYU 1.5.
You think BYU's favored by 1.5?
Yes.
Yeah, you're wrong. Utah's favored by 3.
Holy smokes, really?
Yep. Again, kind of proving my point on the...
I'm on a bad week.
I'm not having a bad week.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm glad that happened because that kind of makes me feel smarter about my take.
As it should.
Cincinnati is at Oklahoma State. God, these poor bastards.
Oh my gosh. Did they even play yesterday?
Yeah, they played Utah and got run off the field.
Oh, that's right.
Or not Utah, Houston.
That's right. Houston ran off the
Fritz. That was one of my locks of the week.
Where's this game?
Stillwater.
And it's Cincinnati and Stillwater?
Yep.
Man, that Cincinnati offense might put up 50 points in this game. I'm going to say this is 17.
It's a miss. It's 21.
Oh, my gosh. That's so bad.
I would bet on Cincinnati at that number.
How sad are things in Stillwater?
What you do right now is you watch. It looks like a little juice is going on. Oklahoma State. If that drops below 3 touchdowns, we pound it. All right, team?
What's that over-under? It's got to be like a monster
56.
number. Yeah. What a weird
Hold on.
league.
We'll give you the rest of our friends of the program. Army is at Tulane.
Tulane, 8.
It's a miss, 10.5. Oh,
No,
we'll give it to you. It's non-conference.
Yeah,
that's a win. Florida Atlantic is at the Fighting Golishes, South Florida.
He's starting to get brought up in some of these big jobs, by the way, Golish. Interesting.
Next head coach at Arkansas?
I think that would line up, actually. I really do. He's going to have his choice.
What if Matt goes and takes the Bengals?
No, I mean, okay, how do I say this nicely for all involved here? Golish is probably holding out for SEC or Big Ten at this point.
I would agree.
Who do they play? Florida Atlantic?
Yeah, FAU.
Remember Tom Herman coached there for like a year?
I did. What a weird.
What a weird.
I mean, I'm shocked. I thought for sure he would kill.
I did
there.
too. That would have. That's a complete fall from grace. USF 9.
21.5.
Oh, things are not going well for FAU then.
What? No, I'm on the air. My wife is yelling at me to come eat dinner.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah, it's been a good show so far.
All right. I think this is super interesting because of the current Franklin situation.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. That game's interesting this weekend.
Penn State at Iowa.
I'm going to say Penn State 4.
3. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Iowa by 3. Iowa's favored by 3.
Real quick basketball note. Iowa lost. You see this?
No.
To St. Louis by 30 in the exhibition game.
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
By 30?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's 25. 99-74 was the final.
I mean, that's not like a buzzer beater at the end of the game.
That is not.
That's a total.
And Sturts played. I mean, I'm just always keep an eye on your friends to the east. So Ben McCollum, as somebody did say this on the internet, said, well, he purposely wanted them to lose by 30 so he could attack the weaknesses that way. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Chess, not checkers, everybody.
Well, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Fun weekend, everybody. Good to see you all.
Absolutely.
And the sun did come out today, and it might on Monday as well.
I reckon it probably will.
There you go.
He
Appreciate
is Brent
everyone.
Blum. My name is Chris Williams. We will be back on Wednesday morning. All of our other great Cyclone Fanatic programming coming up as well. Thank our presenting sponsor, Mechdyne. We are in the Northwest Bank Studios. Have a great week.